Hello, everybody. It's me, Will.
And me, Kristen.
We're back.
We're back, babies. How you doing?
Another live episode of Guide to the Unknown.
Look, I have Joker-themed things today.
Coming at you.
The green windscreen and my purple water bottle.
Oh, you're right.
I'm dressed like the Joker.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You've got the Joker's accessories.
Uh-huh. Trust.
Your earrings are laughing mouths.
I know, I did that on purpose.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do stuff like that, too. I don't know.
You don't wear accessories. I'm sure you would.
I technically have accessories.
Your little necklace? What else?
My glasses are accessories.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
my watch is
yeah,
an
they
accessory.
are
I could have gotten a Joker wedding ring.
That's true.
Just for this show.
That's true. You screwed up.
I did screw up.
Yeah.
It's a shame that I didn't
Hey, Megan.
do
Hey, Miss
that.
Sweetie.
What's going on? We're going to get started in just a couple minutes.
Yep. I'm just going to share it up a couple of places. How are you guys? What are you up to right now? Besides watching this, I'm sure you're like multitasking in some way.
Hope you're all having pleasant evenings.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm pumped. I'm pumped.
Woo! What's your favorite song from the 1989 Batman soundtrack by Prince? Hi, Tabitha.
Mine would be Party Man.
Mine's Party Man too.
Party Man.
Party Man.
Party Man.
New king in town. Everyone, gather around. Black and white, red and green.
If another man calls you a beast, I'll cut his lungs out.
We're talking about the Joker. Come hang out. Okay.
Good stuff.
Yep.
All right, I'm just posting on Myth Traveler and at GTTU Pod. Megan is working, waiting to go on break.
Oh, cool.
It will come sooner. Now that we're here to delight you.
Yes.
Tickle your funny bones. Let's see here. Paste. Oh, I always do this. You don't want me to use the real link.
Right.
Damn it. I do that every time.
It's easier, too, because you can just type in.
YouTube.com/TalkBomb is where we're at. Bam. Let's talk about all the crazy rumors surrounding the Joker. Come hang out for GTTU Live.
Hey, Diana. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, Diana. So you saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. You weren't that into it. We weren't either. I gotcha.
I saw one episode of it. My buddy Bobby told me to watch one about a... what?
No, the movie, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh, I was thinking of Two Sentence Horror Stories. My bad. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was not that good. Interesting. Yeah, I think I felt the same, right?
Yes.
I did?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, what a shame. I wonder if they're going to do more. You know...
Oh, yeah, I haven't heard any news about it, but I think it was a pretty big hit, so I would imagine.
It was very, talked about at least. I don't think I said this on a stream or on a show or anything, but during the movie... I did say this part. During the movie, it made me think a little bit about the show that I wrote, Blackwood. Mm-hmm. And then I found out, after I felt that way, the main character of that movie is played by Ian Coletti's sister.
Oh, really?
Ian Coletti stars in Blackwood.
Oh, weird. I can see that. She kind of looks like him.
Isn't that weird?
Oh, that's strange. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I found it out way after the fact, and it was just kind of like a... I don't even know what. It was like a weird little, scary family connection.
Hey, you mama.
Hey, Mom. What's going on? Ghost.
Okay.
And I'm just going to post it in one last place, and I think I'm
Same.
personally set. You do whatever you feel you must.
I am just about ready.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I've got a few small things I want to say before you launch in with your bigger topics.
Okay.
Sort of a button on a few things I said I would talk about last week, but kind of didn't.
Perfect.
Paste. Share. Done. Let's get scared.
Cool.
That's my new phrase.
That's good.
My new saying.
Yeah.
You like that?
I do like it.
It's pretty neat.
It's very neat.
It's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right, everybody. We're going to do the show now.
Let's rock.
Was that...
I was going to do it and I messed it up. I
What
did
is
it
it?
up. It's down. Yeah.
Is that what she does?
Yeah, she's like, boom.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's hard to do. I went, and then I was like, that's almost the peace sign.
Who is it that does this?
Elvis.
Oh, Phil Margera.
Yes, Elder Elvis and Phil Margera.
All right.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her brother, William.
And tonight we are going to talk about the Joker. We're going to wrap up our conversation from last week and add on the movie versions and kind of get into those.
The Joker Part 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you can follow us at GTTU Pod everywhere if you like the show. The show comes out every Friday. You can also Google Eventbrite Guide to the Unknown Live if you would like to come to our live show at Pino's in Highland Park, New Jersey on Sunday, October 27th. It's getting closer and closer.
It's getting very close.
We're getting excited. Mm-hmm. We're doing some stuff for it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we would love for you guys to come. So you can find it by Googling or you can find the link in our bios anywhere.
Yep. Get those tickets. Mm-hmm. If you are not in the tri-state area, but you know people who are, send them as your ambassadors.
Yes, as your proxies.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. A bunch of you have already gotten tickets.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun not only to see all of you, but for all of you to kind of meet each other as well.
Yeah, totally. I think it's going to be
a
really good time. So definitely come to that. We would love to have you.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's talk, before we get into the big movie stuff, I want to talk about sort of the origins of Joker on screen.
Yeah.
I talked about him, I think, very briefly last week, but the first person to physically play the Joker on screen was Cesar Romero.
Yes.
In the 1966 Batman TV show with Adam West and Burt Ward. Very campy, very corny. Now, I learned a couple things. First of all, I didn't know this about Cesar Romero just as a person.
Yeah.
He was known as the Latin Lover.
I know he was he was a pretty respected big deal actor before this.
Respected lover.
Yeah, respected lover.
I had no idea. He's also known as the Latin from Manhattan.
Oh, okay. Wow, this got a lot of nicknames.
Which I like. He was in Ocean's 11 with Frank Sinatra.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. And here's what he had to say about playing the Joker. He took on the role when he was 59 years old, so he'd already done a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
It's the kind of part where you can do everything you've been told not to do as an actor. You can be as hammy as you want, which I like.
That's great.
He tied with Burgess Meredith, who played the Penguin, as having the most screen time as a villain. Out of 120,
that sounds right.
Yeah, out of 120 total episodes of Batman, he was in 22, plus the movie.
Yeah, the two of them and Catwoman are definitely the heavies of the Batman series.
Yeah, I think in almost every single possible incarnation of Batman, the Joker always ends up coming out as a favorite.
Yeah.
Decades after the show ended, Cesar Romero claimed that he had done the Joker's laugh so many times that it had permanently altered his natural laugh.
I could see that.
If you had to constantly...
It's literally muscle memory.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means that when he was, in his 80s, they'd be like, Grandpa Romero.
Right.
Make him sit on a whoopee cushion and go like, woo!
Grandpa Lover or whatever.
Grandpa Lover?
Oh, yeah, that's not...
I don't like it.
What was his nickname? The Latin Lover?
The Latin Lover and the Latin from Manhattan.
All right.
Great names.
Maybe Grandpa Manhattan.
Grandpa Manhattan is perfect. Cesar Romero's Joker laugh was created almost by accident. These are from IMDb, by the way.
Yeah.
It was so long ago I couldn't get a ton of quotes from Cesar Romero about the role, but I wanted to get something.
Couldn't reach out?
Couldn't reach out.
Yeah.
Not without a Ouija board.
Right.
There's got to be some way to get some information about what it was like back then or something, but IMDb was the source that had the most info.
That's fine.
So the Joker laugh was created almost by accident. Shortly after being cast, Romero met with producers to discuss his role on the series. While waiting to meet with them, he happened to see conceptual art of the Joker's costume. He felt the pictures almost looked absurd, and as a result, he spontaneously broke out into a playfully loud and almost manic laughter. A producer overheard it, responding by telling Romero, "That's it! That's your Joker laugh!" I don't believe it.
I don't believe that.
I believe maybe something similar happened.
I believe that maybe he came out with a fun giggle or something in the moment, but that he didn't make that laugh.
I think
he could have heard, the producer could have heard that and been like, ooh, like that. Let's build on it. Like maybe he was like, ooh.
Right.
And then they built on it. But that laugh is not something that any natural person just comes out with.
No, also I think that it is playing into something that we'll see a little more in your bulk of this topic.
The mythology of the Joker.
Yes, and the idea of the Joker as almost being treated like he is some sort of external spirit.
Yes, that inhabits those who play him.
Yes, and so they had to bring that lore all the way back to 1966 and make Cesar Romero part of that legacy.
Right.
The Joker laugh just came to him.
Yeah.
As if being
that's
boinked into his brain
ridiculous.
by a mischievous force.
Yeah, okay.
Here are some cool storylines from the show. They always had like two-parters. They would air on Wednesdays and then a cliffhanger for the Thursday where they would wrap it up.
Yeah.
I didn't know the titles were like this, though. Episode 1, The Joker Goes to School. Part 2, He Meets His Match, the Grizzly Ghoul.
That's awesome.
Isn't that great? All the titles are like that.
Yeah.
The Joker strikes at the high school level when his rigged vending machine gives out stocks, bonds, and silver dollars.
That's one episode name?
Yeah. Oh, no. Well.
Oh.
What? No, this is the description.
I didn't know you were reading the description. I thought you were reading another episode
Another episode name?
Okay,
no, my bad.
Gotcha.
It's all part of his sinister scheme to blackmail the school basketball team.
Wow.
This show is a hell of a thing.
Oh, I loved that show.
All right, next Joker episode titles.
Yeah.
Part 1, The Impractical Joker.
Oh, perfect.
Followed by The Joker's Provokers.
Ooh, rhymey.
Also good.
Yeah.
Here's the description of those episodes. Joker, with the help of his mesmerizing box, is stealing keys.
Okay.
Batman and Robin try to stop him, but end up trapped in the Joker's giant key-making machine. He has a skeleton key that is like a little miniature actual skeleton. It looks kind of rad.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also in that part 2, Joker's Provokers, he invents some sort of a time machine.
Oh, cool. Is it a big swirling, like, classic kind of time machine
Maybe.
thing?
I
feel
didn't.
like I can picture that.
I didn't see all the
like that
footage,
Austin Powers jumps into.
Right. Yeah. Next episode titles: The Zodiac Crimes.
Oh. Okay. So what's the deal there?
Joker is trying to commit crimes according to the signs of the Zodiac.
Okay.
Isn't that weird?
Yes.
Here's how the voice handled.
What year was that? Do you know?
I mean, 66-ish. I think it was season 1.
Uh-huh.
So it would be pre-Zodiac.
Oh, boy.
You know?
Maybe he was inspired.
Maybe. The Zodiac Crimes.
Yeah.
And then it was
TV.
Yeah, he did watch a lot of TV.
Oh, man.
Who's to say?
Weird.
Yeah. Joker. So, here's how the voiceover at the end of part 1 gives the cliffhanger for part 2.
Okay.
Can it be the dynamic duo crushed to death by an 8-ton meteorite? Will the Joker's prophecy come true? Are their horoscopes canceled? Is this the last star? Tune in tomorrow. Same time, same channel, same peril.
Love that.
Isn't that great?
Are their horoscopes canceled?
And then in part 2, Joker almost feeds them to a giant clam.
Wow.
Are our eyes deceiving us? Has the giant clam really swallowed Robin? With beautiful Venus next on his monstrous menu? Leaving the Joker free to confuse, confound, and control Gotham City. Find out next week. Same time, same channel. There was a 3-parter here.
Yeah, that plot line is all over the place.
It's crazy.
There's a clam?
In part 3, Joker poisons the Gotham City water supply using his Joker
Clams?
jelly.
Oh, okay. Oh, my God. So we've gone from the Zodiac to clams to Joker jelly.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Let's jump now to Mark Hamill.
Yes.
Who is probably the most,
Joker.
outside of Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Or outside of
I was about to say.
Heath Ledger.
Careful, you.
He responded like I committed some sort of a crime, like there was treason.
Yeah, I was like, what are you about to say? Okay.
Outside of Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill's probably the most famous, beloved
Not
portrayal.
Jack Nicholson?
Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I get. Well, they're the top 3. I wonder how you rank them.
That's a tough. I think Mark Hamill's definitely at the bottom of that top 3 ranking, as far as like if we're talking about beloved public kind of thing.
Yeah, for mainstream, he might be at the bottom.
Yes.
For dorks, he might be the number 1.
Yes, definitely. But if you're talking about right.
Yeah. So weirdly, Mark Hamill was not the original choice to voice the Joker in Batman the Animated Series. Do you know who was?
No.
Tim Curry.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. Yeah,
You
yeah,
knew that?
Yes. During my research, I came across it.
Okay, yeah.
He also was in the mix for one of the movie roles. I can't remember. It's
Is that
probably
right?
1989 Batman.
Ah, man, I love Tim Curry.
I do too.
So here's what Bruce Timm had to say about the casting. What?
Bruce Timm.
Bruce Timm. He's one of the creators of Batman the Animated Series.
Okay. I got my wires all crossed. We're talking about 1989 Batman for a second, so I was thinking about Tim Burton in my head a little bit. So when you said Bruce Timm, I thought you meant Tim Burton.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
No. He said, I think what Tim Curry was doing was very, very interesting.
Oh, boy.
It didn't sound terribly organic to us. A lot of his line readings were they almost felt non sequitur. They were just really weird and quirky, but without any deep meaning behind them. Again, not to knock him, because I'm still a huge fan. Still am. But it didn't seem, and it sounds weird to say this about the Joker, it didn't sound natural.
Interesting. I would like to hear that.
I know. There are no released audio of Tim Curry doing the Joker.
Man.
And obviously, then Mark Hamill took over, and kind of the rest is history.
Yeah, he smashes it.
I will say Batman the Animated Series somewhat follows from Batman 1989 by Tim Burton and Batman, I think 1991 for Batman Returns. It's, I think, sort of playing off that same kind of continuity.
Yeah, I think so.
Joker in the cartoon show is Jack Napier. He is, his like real name is given at a certain point.
Right.
But that's kind of all I have. I know that Mark Hamill really loved playing the role. He's continued to today. Occasionally he'll do like a really big project and then sort of start to hint that maybe he's retiring as the Joker only for something else to get announced that was very big. He was wonderful in the Batman Arkham games. He also said that he would love to come back and reprise the role if they ever did a video cartoon adaptation of The Killing Joke, which is a very famous Joker story, which then they did.
Right.
And I'm sure he's not really done. I'm sure that he would come back for more.
I think so, because it seems like he really, really loves it, and he's so beloved.
Yep.
It seems like those two things together mean that he'll probably be back at some point.
Absolutely. He's so famous. It's such a beloved, interpretation of the character.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll be back.
definitely. All right, well, let me pick things up from there with the movie versions of the Joker, the people who have played the Joker, and some kind of stuff about the plots of those movies and or behind the scenes history, all kinds of a big grab bag of stuff about the Joker over time. So we see the Joker now as kind of, there's this mythology, like we were saying, about playing the Joker and how it kind of twists you and stuff. But when Jack Nicholson started playing the Joker, it was pretty smooth sailing for him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He had a fine time?
He had a great time, I think. There was one story, and I didn't even write it down because I could only find one source or one place mentioning it. And then I tried Googling all different iterations of words to find another source, and I couldn't find anything, which made me wonder if it was even true. There was a story, and I'm sorry this is so unsatisfying. I'll try to find the source to put in the show notes. I don't even know if I'll be able to find it. That said that there was one day on set where Jack Nicholson kind of threw a hissy fit about the character and stormed off stage.
Oh.
I couldn't find anything else referencing this problem happening.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if that was just something inserted into this one article or what, because everything else I've read says that he had a great time. He loved playing the character, and I didn't find anything else about him giving people a hard time in that way.
I mean, he's like popping off the screen. He
certainly is
dancing up a storm.
Yes. I mean, he stuck to his guns about some stuff like with production, but there was nothing else I found about him being like, blah, 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 and the Joker taking over. So I'm not totally sure what the deal is.
He was a hell of a businessman.
A hell of a businessman. So let's talk about that. So he was offered the role of the Joker and kind of held back a little bit. He wasn't totally sure whether he wanted to do it. And they ended up using Robin Williams as sort of a negotiating pawn. They went to Robin Williams and were like, hey, would you want to play the Joker? And Robin Williams was like, yeah, absolutely. Went back to Jack Nicholson. They're like, look, if you don't sign on the dotted line, we're giving this to Robin Williams now. So, like, it's up to you.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, fellas, I guess you got my back against the wall. I'll do your picture.
Oh, my God.
But he had some stipulations. He wanted the biggest thing is that he negotiated an insane deal that is still lucrative to this day. At the time, he was getting about $10 million per movie, and he told them that he would take this movie for $6 million, but provided that he earned a percentage of the film's total earnings, including merch, forever. Which is unheard of.
It's insane.
So to date, he has gotten about $50 million from Batman.
Wow.
It's crazy. So anything that had his likeness in it. So a toy that's the Joker, like another toy set that has an allusion to the Joker in it or anything. Anything that has any hint of Joker in it or on it, he gets a percentage
Is
of.
it just about Batman 1989?
Yes, Batman 1989, but yes.
Okay, I've heard versions of this story where it's the Batman franchise. I've heard versions of this story where he made money off of the first 4 movies at least.
I don't know. So.
Yeah.
I don't think so. There are other weird things like that I didn't write down because they don't have to do with the Joker, but there are strange things where people got paydays for the movies, like what's his name? The guy who plays Harvey Dent in the first one.
Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams. I think now I'm getting mixed up.
There are a couple of things. I know that, I think that something happened with him. He had taken the role because he wanted to play Two-Face.
Right.
So he thought he was being set up in the first one, but then they didn't use him. I think he may have gotten paid when Tommy Lee Jones took over the role.
He got paid for that. And then there was somebody else. I think it was Damon Wayans was supposed to be
Robin.
Robin, and got paid, even though he didn't actually end up being Robin.
Right.
So there are people who got paydays for things that they didn't actually act in.
Yeah.
I think that Jack Nicholson's deal is just for the 1989 Batman.
Okay.
I don't think it's franchise as a whole, because he would be a billionaire then.
I know, that's kind of what I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, because that would mean the animated series and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Where would it stop?
Exactly. So he also wanted to be able to sign off on the makeup artist that they used. He got final decision on his makeup artist, which is just, again, not a humongous deal, but unusual.
Yeah.
He also wanted to get a later call time than everybody else, because this was an era where Jack Nicholson was partying it up, going to have late dinners and stuff like that, not getting until 3 a.m. So he would apparently roll in at 10 a.m. was his call time. Everybody else's was 7.
Yeah.
And he would immediately fall asleep in the makeup chair for them to put his prosthetics on and everything. And then he would wake up and he was ready to do business.
I'll tell you what. Listen, whatever they had to do for him, it worked.
Oh, it absolutely worked. He is a delight in that movie.
Allie and I just watched it. I hadn't seen it in years.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of things in the movie that stand out to me, but they're almost exclusively the Joker.
Oh, he's great.
He's incredible.
He's a dream. And so similar to Cesar Romero saying that he loved it because you can be as hammy as you want to, and it still works.
Yeah.
He said that he really loved playing it because the Joker is so unpredictable that you can make pretty much any choice and it's always going to be true to the character.
Right.
It all sort of works.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So the way that he played the character is that the Joker in Batman 1989 is still kind of campy and fun a la Cesar Romero, but he is a little bit more threatening and sinister. He's a little bit more violent than Cesar Romero Joker. He's kind of I feel he's a little bit of a fulcrum between the comic book and TV goofiness and the darkness of the later movies. He's out to kill people and murder them and stuff, but he still has that gleeful and cartoony thing. Even the way that they design him color-wise and everything is a little bit more upbeat than we've seen in later
He
things.
really is. It's funny that the Tim Burton movies, especially Tim Burton as a director, is viewed as being so dark.
Yeah.
I
mean, this is still dark Batman, but
it is.
Yeah.
But compared to, and we'll get to it, but compared to the Dark Knight, where everything is brown earth tones, and everybody is so serious all the time.
Why are they so serious?
That's a great question.
I know. One I think that we should be asking.
The Tim Burton version of Batman is so over the top.
Oh, totally.
It's so heightened and absurd. It's a cartoon. It's
when I say dark, I don't really mean dark tonally, although, of course, there are some things that are, dark. I mean, it's still a literally dark movie. We're talking about visuals and stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But the Joker is very poppy and fun to look at.
Yes. But scary. I remember there being things in the movie.
Yes.
So this came out in 1989. I was 3. I doubt I saw it right away.
Yeah.
But I know I saw it a bunch as a kid.
Yes.
And there are a few things in the movie that used to scare the hell out of me.
Totally.
I think I remember watching it at Grandma and Grandpa's a bunch.
We watched this movie. This is definitely one of our most watched movies of childhood.
Probably, yeah.
And I remember we watched it a handful of years ago now at Mom and Dad's. We did we would do like movie series where we go over there and watch like a different kind of movie, every week or whatever. We watched Batman. And Mom, I remember, was like, I can't believe I let you kids watch this when you were kids. Like, I'm a terrible mother. This is a scary, messed up movie. I thought 'cause it's Batman and it's fun, but she was like, I let you guys watch this all the time. We were like, yeah.
Hey, if people
we're fine.
Absolutely. If your awareness of Batman was the 1966 TV show,
of course,
why would you anticipate anything else?
Totally. And somehow we ended up with a VHS copy. Mom
Right.
was probably like, yeah, sure, go for it. And we loved it.
Loved it.
It is scary.
It's scary.
Uncle Bingo Time to Pay to Check is scary.
That's scary. When he gets shot in the face with his own gun, and there's just goo jelly pouring out of his cheeks.
Yes.
That's scary. When his mutilated hand reaches out of the poison.
Yeah.
When doctor
he dings that guy, when he has that buzzer in his hand to shake his hand and he kills him.
That was
that's
terrifying.
Scary.
He burns that guy to cinders.
Right.
And how about the doctor that does the reconstructive surgery on him?
That was very scary to
that
me.
Might
I remember
be...
that being a point where I was like, oh, that part is coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
For young Willie,
yes.
That was like one of the scariest things that you could show me in a movie. It's all done, shot from behind. It's Jack Nicholson in silhouette sitting in almost like a dentist chair.
Yep.
You can't see his legs. So it almost makes him look like he's severed at the waist. He's just kind of like a waist up thing.
Yeah.
And his arms are out. His hands are bandaged like a mummy, which make his fingers look little. I don't understand what I'm looking at.
I know.
And you can just see his wispy hair as the doctor is going like, I only had such tools to work with.
I did the best I could.
And they show his tools, which are all bone saws covered in blood.
Totally. And the Joker's like, mirror! He's like banging around for it. He seems all erratic and messed up. Then he sees himself, starts cracking up, and starts stumbling
Smashes the mirror.
Yeah. Stumbles out. It is so scary.
Terrifying.
Great.
Oh, it's so good.
Loved it.
So good.
So he plays him, kind of in the middle. He's kind of, I used this word last week, he's kind of a gross Lothario.
Yep.
He's lusting after people left and right. His look in this is due to being dropped in those chemicals. Like his white face and green hair and everything is natural to him at this point. It's not like he's coloring his hair or putting makeup on or anything. If anything, he puts on flesh-colored makeup at one point, and when that comes off, that part's scary too.
Confused the hell out of me as a kid.
I know. I remember being really confused.
I could not understand what I was looking at.
Yeah.
He colors his entire face and his lips.
Yes.
And then when he wipes his forehead,
you
it's
see
all
white underneath.
And when I was a kid, I was like, is he wiping white paint on his forehead, or is he wiping off the brown paint that's there, revealing I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Same. I think it took me a long time to understand what was happening there.
Yeah.
He is also one of the only big screen Jokers that has a specific vendetta against Batman, because in this story, Batman has dropped him into the chemicals.
Interesting.
Batman is also just kind of in his damn way. He's trying to build his criminal empire and do his thing, and Batman is in the way. But Batman kind of made him like this, so he's got kind of a personal beef with Batman here. Also, he killed Batman's parents in this. He didn't know that kid was gonna grow up to be Batman, but there's just a little more personal backstory between the Joker and Batman in this that goes further back than in a lot of other iterations.
And that was like a sort of a controversial thing, because famously in the comics, Batman's parents are killed by Joe Chill.
Right.
Not Jack Napier. And Jack Napier is not even the name of the Joker in most versions of the story.
Right. There's one comic that came out after this movie that used the name Jack Napier, but they also used other names within that same comic. So it was that sort of play on the Joker having a bunch of backstories things. So you can't even bank on Jack Napier being his real name, but they do use it in kind of like a little nod.
Right.
Yeah. So other people considered for this role were Tim Curry, John Lithgow, James Woods, Brad Dourif, and Willem Dafoe.
Brad Dourif as the Joker would be pretty great.
I know. That one definitely stood out to me, too.
Scary man.
So I want to transition to Heath Ledger by talking about the fact that Jack Nicholson was not happy about not being consulted or asked to do anything having to do with The Dark Knight. And he talked about it in an interview with MTV. Oh. So there's an interview that's on MTV.com, and I'm just going to read it verbatim. MTV says, "What do you think of another actor, Heath Ledger, playing the Joker in next summer's The Dark Knight?" Nicholson. Oh, God. Let me be the way I'm not in interviews. I'm furious. He laughs. They never asked me about a sequel with the Joker. I know how to do that. Nobody ever asked me.
Oh my God.
Yikes. It was never brought up? Now I'm going to go to normal. No. It's like in any area, you can't believe the reasons things do or don't happen. Not asking me how to do the sequel is that kind of thing. Maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe it was the right thing. But to be candid, I'm furious.
Maybe they were afraid to approach him.
Maybe, because he's very intense. MTV. I'm surprised to hear you sounding competitive about a role like that. Nicholson. Well, the Joker comes from my childhood.
Oh.
That's how I got involved with it in the first place. It's a part I always thought I should play. MTV. Will you see the new film? I'm not inclined to watch it because of what I said, but if it's a good movie, I'll catch up with it somewhere. I don't think they ever really captured Tim Burton's spirit since he stopped being involved. They kind of drove the franchise into the ground. Tim Burton's a genius. He had the right take on it. That's why I did the movie. I did the movie based on a single conversation with him. We both come from the cartoon world originally. We had similar ideas. Tim said the Joker should have a humorous dark side to him. Burton is one of the great movie makers. I think the world of him. He's the most unassuming man, and he doesn't feel pressure. That's what I love about him. Once he's in there, he's smiling, making the movie. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
That's nice.
It's super nice, but he was steamed.
He was toasted.
That he wasn't asked to be the Joker, that they didn't even consult him.
Well, a lot of people consider him to be the Joker.
Yes.
You know, that the persona that he played on film was really just kind of a version of himself.
Yeah. Which feels kind of right to me.
It feels kind of right. I don't know how true it is.
Totally. But
right.
It does feel like a blown up caricature of what we kind of think of Jack Nicholson to be like.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of seems right to me.
And I do want to also share this. I've got a film theory for everybody.
Okay.
Kristen and I,
yes, this is a good theory.
Kristen and I recently saw The Shining in theaters for the first time ever. There was like a Fathom event, one of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I had a theory a while back that got confirmed when we were in this screening, at least for me.
Yes.
So in the movie The Shining, Jack Nicholson stars as Jack Torrance, who at one point needs to go into the most haunted hotel room in the world, room 237 at the Overlook Hotel. When he goes inside the room, what does he find? All of the decorations, from the carpet to the curtains to the way the bed is dressed, are all purples and greens. I originally submitted to everybody that Jack Nicholson entered room 237, but it was the Joker who stepped out.
That's right.
And everyone laughed at me. But then I had it confirmed when I was sitting in the theater just a few weeks ago. And what is one of the things that Jack Nicholson says after leaving room 237?
Why so serious? No,
Give me the bat. I want the bat. Give me the bat.
Ridiculous.
Give me the bat, Wendy. Give me the bat.
Yeah, doing a lot more tongue work in
Give me the bat.
The Shining than I had realized until this watching.
Give me the bat, Wendy. Blah.
So.
Theory confirmed.
Joker. Confirmed. He walks in, Jack Torrance. Walks out, Jack Napier.
I'm very proud of that theory.
It's
and
a great theory.
I
It's
hope
very good.
everybody knows that I'm not serious.
They're wondering why you're so serious.
Give me the bat.
Yeah.
I thought of that when that moment happened in the movie. And I was like, I can't wait for this to end so I can tell everyone. So annoying.
There were so many things during us watching The Shining that I wanted to just say to you, like that or whatever. But it's such a quiet movie, actually.
Uh-huh.
There's no room to whisper because then you'd annoy everybody around you. Except I couldn't hold back telling you that my haircut was like Danny's haircut because I wanted to do it while he was on screen.
That's right.
Because I got bangs recently. If you guys don't follow me on social media, my hair was down, and I realized that Danny Torrance and I had the same haircut.
Yeah.
Been doing Danny Torrance cosplay. All right, so let's move on to Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. Big one everybody's talking about. The Joker on everybody's lips. That's not true. Not right now.
Well, maybe not right this second, but yeah.
So, this guy's an agent of chaos. He is not a fun, like, cartoony Joker or anything. He kind of takes the wild card, you never know what he's going to do nature of Jack Nicholson, and he makes it a little bit scarier. He's got a little bit more of an edge. He's a little bit less gleeful. He'll laugh and stuff like that, but it feels much more like, not that the Joker wasn't unhinged before, but it feels much more unhinged than previous Joker iterations and more dangerous, I would say. He seems like, whereas other Jokers are like, yeah, he's a wild card. It's like, this guy's really a wild card. He could stab you, like, right now for no reason, seemingly. It does seem like, he's having a little bit of fun, but it's also more of a manic thing than a goofy thing. We don't have a clear backstory on him, so there's no Jack Napier backstory or anything. As you guys know, I'm not going to go into it tons and tons because a lot of people know about The Dark Knight. He gives different backstories, which kind of harkens to what Will was talking about last week. As something that happens in the comics. Yeah. He's definitely wearing makeup. It's not that he has been dropped into a chemical vat or anything. He wears makeup and colors his hair to look unnerving.
They call it war paint.
In the movie, do they? When?
At the very, very beginning, I think.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. He's obsessed with Batman basically because he's in his way, but also he's kind of psychologically fascinated with him. Like, why is this guy doing this? What drives him? And he wants to get in his head, kind of is in his head a little bit, and mess with him and break him somewhat. Other people considered for this role were Willem Dafoe again, Don Johnson, like
Who's
from
Don
Miami
Johnson?
Vice.
Oh, weird.
Shocker. Sam Rockwell.
Oh.
Dancing?
Yeah, I don't need those
Like the Joker?
fancy moves.
Nope. Hugo Weaving. And Steve Carell and Robin Williams both publicly expressed interest, but doesn't seem like they were asked. And I was thinking how cuckoo it would be.
That'd be so
if
strange.
Steve Carell was the Joker in a Christopher Nolan Batman movie.
That would be so strange. I mean,
so weird.
This was all pre him doing stuff like Foxcatcher, too.
Yeah.
So you thought of him as Evan Almighty.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. He hadn't been doing any like serious roles or anything. So very, very weird. So I want to talk about something that I didn't know anything about that is so awesome to me. Do you know anything about the kind of advertising campaign they did at San Diego Comic-Con for The Dark Knight?
No, not at all.
Okay. So they did a Why So Serious scavenger hunt across the city in San Diego. I'm going to give you kind of broad strokes, and I'm going to go to a website, then I'm going to describe it all, where they all ended up, everybody was participating in it, ended up across the street from the convention center where Comic-Con was being held. A black Escalade with Gotham license plates rolled up. They took one of the people who had been participating in the scavenger hunt, who was dressed as the Joker. It was tons of people dressed as the Joker. Took him in the Escalade.
Wow.
Then you heard screams coming from the Escalade, and they drove away with him. Later in that day, a Gotham newspaper was circulated around Comic-Con with a report that a man thought to be the Joker was beaten to death.
Oh my God.
With pictures of that fan who they had taken in the car away. And it said that he had a playing card in his hand that said, "See you in December."
Oh my
which
God.
is when the Joker, when The Dark Knight was coming out.
That's pretty bonkers. That's
crazy.
pretty heavy.
Very heavy. So I want to take you through the particulars of it now.
Okay, great.
And you can find this in the show notes, but this is from batman.wikibruce.com.
Wiki Bruce?
Yes. So the way that this went down was that they distributed actual dollar bills that had red lipstick and blacked out eyes on George Washington's face, and they replaced the thing that says $1 on a dollar bill with "Why So Serious." If you went to whysoserious.com, it led to a Joker henchman recruitment page.
Oh.
So it showed like a vandalized, like Jokerized Uncle Sam poster, like a "We Want You" sort of thing, with a countdown timer in the upper right-hand corner that counted down to 10 a.m. and had coordinates leading to a location in San Diego. The poster said, "Tired of your miserable dead-end job? Ready for a change of pace? Our elite organization is expanding."
Yeah.
We're looking for fresh faces to represent us in an important upcoming negotiation. You must be 18 or older to apply. Enjoy a career in a lucrative, high-profile field. Our associates make their own hours, enjoy great benefits, and in some cases, work from home. Do you have what it takes? Qualified recruits must have an open mind, strong moral compass, the ability to improvise. Recruits are encouraged to ask a friend with access to the internet to help them from home. If you don't have any friends, consider hiring one. Tryouts begin when the clock hits 0 at coordinates. Bring your sense of humor, but don't worry. We'll supply the smile.
Oh.
So you would need somebody who I guess had like a desktop or something to be helping you out with this, get coordinates to different places, go to different areas, and then when the scavenger hunt ended, there's like a time when this is going to be over. WhySoSerious.com updated. The site then featured the teaser trailer for The Dark Knight and a police file summarizing the event, captioned, "Here's what you missed."
Huh.
And it's a Gotham Police Department file, and it says, "Update, Joker, eliminated. All forces stand down. Do not disseminate. Police Department use only. Offense," and it has code violations and stuff. Location, the convention center. Details. Officers were initially called to the downtown area after receiving multiple reports of defaced currency. Detectives received reports that the money was somehow linked to a website. The site appeared to be looking for recruits, a ruse that the site's author used to manipulate hundreds of gullible individuals into creating mayhem in the city's streets. Friday morning, 10 a.m. Recruits assembled at 10 a.m. Friday morning. Most of them appeared to be in contact with co-conspirators online. Those online alerted the crew on the street to look up, where they were surprised to see a phone number written in the sky.
Whoa.
Awesome. Friday morning, 10 to 11:30. From this point, the downtown area spiraled into chaos as a mob of depraved citizens, disguised with gruesome clown makeup that seemed to remove all their inhibitions, proceeded to form a dangerous roaming mob that terrorized ordinary citizens, foul public water fountains,
what does that
terrorize
mean?
a girl guide and steal her cookies, and commit various other dangerous and illegal acts. In all of these activities, those on the ground were apparently aided and abetted by their online accomplices, an unholy alliance of technophiles and thugs. Aftermath. In an ironic twist, the mob ended up betraying their instigator, believed to be the notorious criminal known as the Joker. A black vehicle which officers believe may be connected to certain underworld figures pulled up in front of the mob, who allowed a pair of armed men to drag away the Joker, in quotes. Witnesses report hearing agonized screams from the vehicle as it sped away. Officers later discovered the body of the dead clown a few blocks away from the site of the abduction. Conclusion. Why was the Joker attempting to recruit an army? Who wanted him dead? How did his scheme go so terribly wrong? We may never know the answers, but at least the city has been cleansed of a dangerous psychopath, and decent people can sleep safely once more, secure in the knowledge that we have seen the last of the Joker.
That's so weird.
It's so weird.
It's so weird, especially because they get rid of the Joker at the end.
Right, but I guess you're supposed to read between the lines and see that he has that card in his hand that says "See you in December" and be like, "Oh, they think they killed the Joker."
Okay.
But the Joker is still out there because The Dark Knight is coming out, and there's the trailer for The Dark Knight movies on the same website.
Right.
So I think it's super duper fun.
It's very fun.
Yes.
Weirdly, that almost like resonates with the Joker movie that just came out in 2019.
Right, because they're like mobs of followers or whatever. I know. So yeah, there are pictures of the police report on that website. There's a picture of the fan that they pulled into the car and stuff. It's very, very awesome.
That's rad.
Yeah. So let me see. So now I'm going to go into just a little bit of the behind the scenes of Heath Ledger playing the Joker, and his preparation process is pretty notorious. This is definitely where the Joker lore about him twisting your mind picked up steam.
Right.
And then Jared Leto playing the Joker kind of stoked it a little bit more.
Tried to.
But this is really where it was like, oh man, like you can attribute the Joker to like an actual human going mad, basically. Right. So it is true that his preparation process was that he holed up for about a month to kind of prepare for the character. First in a hotel, and then he went back to an apartment that he had, where he experimented with things with the role, played with the voice, played with the laugh, and he kept a diary, which you can actually see. His father shared it in a documentary called Too Young to Die about Heath Ledger.
Oh.
So they flipped through this diary that he had, and it has notes, it has snippets of the script written out by hand that he did, pictures of the Joker from the comics and other places. No, just from the comics, I'm sorry. Pictures of the Joker like taped into it. Pictures of hyenas. Pictures of Malcolm McDowell in Clockwork Orange, which was a big inspiration for the way he played the Joker. And the last page of his diary that he kept had a picture of himself during his makeup test.
Oh.
And then the words "bye, bye, bye" scrawled over the top of other texts that he had written. So that also kind of led to the idea that like the Joker ended up taking over his mind.
Yeah, he went
during the
crazy.
Process. He like became the Joker or something like that. So people say he got, too into the head of the Joker, and that caused emotional problems that exacerbated No, I think people just say that it just caused, if you just look at it and you don't know more, you'd be like, oh, the Joker got into his mind and then he started not being able to sleep. And so he started taking sleeping pills and then he overdosed.
Right.
But the thing is, oh, and also there's a paparazzi video of Jack Nicholson saying, I warned him.
Is that true?
Yes.
He really said that?
Yes, it is true. He doesn't elaborate or anything, but he says, I warned him, as though he knew this was coming.
Yeah.
So there's that mythology. But that seems to not be true. So the deal is that he apparently always had insomnia like his whole life, and he took sleeping pills for it forever. So not saying this is like, good or whatever, but this isn't something that started after he started playing the Joker. And his family made another documentary about him in 2017 called I Am Heath Ledger, and gave a lot of interviews around that and talked at film festivals about it and everything. And they said that he did get super into his role. Like that thing about him holing up and all that stuff, that actually is true, but it wasn't completely atypical of the way that he prepared for roles in general. He definitely got more into it for the Joker, but wasn't cause for concern at the time, really, or anything. And they said that his sister Kate said at one of the screenings that he was having fun and he wasn't depressed about the Joker. And Christian Bale also recounted that Heath Ledger told him that he was having the most fun he'd ever had with a character, and he just seemed super happy the whole time.
Oh, wow.
So he just he really enjoyed nerding out and getting into all this stuff. But because the subject matter is so twisted and he played in such a dark way and did such a great job that it really does feel like inhabiting a character and or having a character inhabit you, and because he then died of an overdose, people kind of conflated those things, but it seems to not be true whatsoever.
Well, it's interesting too because at the time Heath Ledger was kind of just pretty boy, he had done stuff like A Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
And I remember it being really controversial that he was cast as the Joker, and people thought it was going to be ruined.
Way out of left field. People were not about it.
And he's unrecognizable in the movie. Sometimes I watched it for this show.
Right.
Also had not seen this in a while. And I periodically, when he was on the screen, I would stare at him and try to see Heath Ledger.
Yeah, totally. Yes,
and
his face.
You can do it. I mean, it's not like he transformed his face.
Crazy.
But you do have to look for him.
Yes.
He's kind of buried in there.
And he does have some prosthetics on, like the mouth kind of thing. But yeah, he's so insanely good at it. I don't think that these rumors would be around if he wasn't so damn good at playing the Joker, honestly. If he had this crazy preparation process and then the performance was fine,
right,
and then he died, unfortunately, I don't think that people would be well, it's because he inhabited it so much.
Right, yeah.
It's because he really did. It's an unbelievable performance. But I don't think, based on all of this stuff, that it led to his death in any direct way. He definitely had other issues. It wasn't just sleeping pills that he took that he ended up passing away from. He did mix a couple of things.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem to be connected to him losing his mind because he got so wrapped up in the Joker. It just is problems that people have.
Yeah.
But he did an amazing job and apparently had the time of his life doing it. And it's an absolutely insane performance. I really, really love it. So, moving on to Jared Leto.
God.
Who played the Joker in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about it a little bit last week. I did not watch Suicide Squad, but he famously, or as famous as talking about Suicide Squad really is, I don't think it's legendary like Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson, but famously, there was a lot more footage of the Joker that was supposed to be in the movie that they ended up cutting.
Is that true? They filmed more than they used?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, significantly more. There are some deleted scenes that are out and about that you can find. You can't find the deleted scenes in their recorded entirety on YouTube, but you can find videos talking about having seen those on DVD extras and things like that. But no, it seems like there was a lot more that they didn't use. So I watched everything that I could of the Joker and Suicide Squad on YouTube multiple times because I kept looking for anything else. I was I want to make sure I'm seeing everything I can. And I'd be oh man, I'm watching this video again because I'm trying to get to something a little later in it that I might have missed.
Right.
I saw a whole lot of Jared Leto as the Joker.
Yeah, I wanted to, I came really close to watching almost everything, but I didn't end up watching Suicide Squad.
Yes.
I did look up, like you, on YouTube. I just Googled, all the Joker scenes.
Yeah.
And found a video, and I watched that. I think I'd seen it before, maybe, but I didn't really remember it.
There's very little.
It's like a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's less than 20 minutes. They say that he's in the movie.
Oh, I heard that he's in the movie for like tops 7 minutes.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard.
Maybe you're right. So first of all, most notably, his look is a very big departure from previous Jokers.
Yeah.
He's got the same green hair, white face, and red lips, but he's got metal grills. He has shaved eyebrows. He's got a ton of dorky tattoos, like ha 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 tattoos. He has a damaged tattoo on his forehead. It's terrible. It's terrible. He looks like a nerd and a half.
It's embarrassing.
Yes.
It's the kind of thing that, like, honestly, you'd expect this to be straight to video or something.
Yes, I know. So I haven't seen the whole movie.
Neither have I.
Ryan did see it. He rented it at home. And I think when he did, I watched like a few minutes of it or something, because he watched it at night and I was there. I think I turned it on because the rental was still available. And I watched very little of it. And I was like, this looks insane. The way it's edited and has all these weird effects and everything. I was like, I can't believe this is a real movie that was out in theaters.
Yeah, it doesn't feel real.
No. I'm really curious about what this essentially reboot is going to be like with James Gunn as the director.
Right.
It's called The Suicide Squad.
Oh, is it?
Instead of just Suicide Squad, I believe.
Okay.
I think that they're just trying to take out a whole new door.
Sure.
And just do a clean reboot where they can keep going with it or something.
Which is good. They should be doing that. I
know, because honestly, it's a cool idea. And it's an existing idea. It wasn't made up for the movie or anything. That's a sweet idea that you get all the bad guys together because they're expendable.
Right.
So you may as well have them do these things, because if they die, they're bad guys anyway. What's the biggie? It's a sweet idea.
It's a sweet idea, and certainly, like, conceptually, James Gunn feels like the person who can probably pull it off well.
So I'm very curious about it. It's got a real stacked cast.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting.
But, like, they're rebooting everything. Like, Matt Reeves is doing a new version of Batman. So, like, they're abandoning the continuity they'd been building anyway.
Yes, I know.
Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is not supposed to cross over with anybody else.
Right.
So you may as well just do whatever you want now.
It may connect in some way, though. It's totally speculation. And we'll get to it, but I want to forget to get to it, so I'll just say it now. It's pretty much acknowledged that Joker is not the Joker that Joaquin Phoenix is playing. The idea is probably that one of his followers, who's kind of in the horde of Jokers, is inspired and becomes the iconic Joker. So there could be a little bit of, not exactly crossover, but a little bit of a thread there.
Right.
But we'll see. So Jared Leto's Joker is definitely showing off the bod more. Lots of either see-through shirts or no shirts with a coat on top. Good look. He's a little bit more overtly sexual. As I said last time, I used the word erotic because I read it in an article. I didn't just come out with calling the Joker erotic.
Still funny.
I know. He runs a club where Harley dances. She's like not really a stripper. It seems more kind of like a burlesque or go-go dancer. And at one point, he kind of like fake out gifts her to somebody sexually, but he looks clearly both jealous and like horned up over it. And it's just like a definitely weird version of the Joker that is a little bit more...
It's unpleasant.
Very unpleasant. Very unpleasant. So he seems like in the final movie that he is more of a support to Harley, more part of her origin story than he is totally his own character.
Right.
I don't think it was originally supposed to be that way. I think he was supposed to be initially more of his own character, but he's kind of how Harley gets created, and then he kind of like swoops in to save her at the end. There are reports that, like Jack Nicholson, he's not thrilled about this new Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
Right.
Because there had been plans first for there to be a Joker and Harley Quinn movie spinoff. There were also plans. It was an and/or. I can't remember if it was that they were both supposed to happen or was a change for there to be a solo Leto Joker movie. And both of those got scrapped. And he had been looking forward to doing those and also kind of redeeming himself because the public reception of the movie was so terrible.
So terrible. I mean, the only thing bigger than the fact that the movie stunk was everybody talking about how much the movie stunk.
Yes. And also just when the first images of him came out, like promo images, everybody was like, oh, what?
Yeah, I remember, wasn't it him like getting a tattoo?
It was just him screaming into the camera.
Oh, okay.
Just
but
an image.
He's wearing like a purple rubber glove or something. Maybe I'm just thinking of tattoos because of the rubber
I
glove.
think you're just thinking of tattoos. Well, maybe there's another one, but I think of the first image that they showed of the Joker is just him without a shirt on, just screaming into the camera.
Yeah, I know that. There's another one where it's him and Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
And I could swear she's giving him a tattoo or something. And
Could be right.
Then everyone was like, what's with the tattoos? Why does it say damaged on his forehead? And Warner Brothers went, this is a tribute to the Joker. It's 75 years of the Joker. And everyone went, well, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
He never had tattoos, so how is this a tribute to the Joker? And so it started speculation that he maybe will look normal in the movie.
Oh, God.
And so a bunch of people started defending the Suicide Squad by going like, that's not how he's going to look in the movie, you guys. They said it was a tribute.
Yeesh.
And then it's exactly how he looks in the movie.
Yeah, it's exactly how he looks.
Exactly.
Other people who were considered for that role were Ryan Gosling and Matt Smith of Doctor Who. I know.
Yeah.
Matt Smith has a very jokery face.
Yeah.
Give him that. He's got big cheekbones. So I can see that.
I think maybe this movie was just...
Yes, the movie as a whole seems like a stinker. It's not just him, but it is.
Right.
He definitely stinks.
I wrote down some lines he says.
Please.
So I guess it's a flashback and Harley Quinn is trying to win his love.
Okay.
And he goes, I am not someone who is loved. I'm an idea.
Yeah.
It's annoying for
it's
a
so
person to
annoying
say.
Verbalize that.
To say it.
Yes.
I'm an idea.
Yes.
And then she points a gun at his head and he goes, do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And he goes, if you weren't so crazy, I'd think you were insane. He sounds like Jim Carrey.
Yes, he does. I watched that clip like 4 times. It just kept coming up in every video that I went to when I was trying to find like extra Joker clips. I was like, I know.
It's so annoying. And then I guess at some point he takes her to where the toxin that he fell into, the pool of chemicals is.
At Ace Chemicals.
And he goes, do not say this oath thoughtlessly. Desire becomes surrender. Surrender becomes power. And then he goes, now say it. And she goes, please.
Yeah.
He's like, what? Didn't you want her to say the oath?
Yeah,
She did
it wrong.
Desire becomes surrender. Surrender becomes power.
Yeah.
Say it, but not thoughtlessly.
No.
And then she falls into the goo. All right, now here's the thing. So, I was watching this clip.
Will loves this part.
It's like a 50-foot drop into this vat of chemicals.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn goes in first. And then the Joker basically does like a swan dive.
Yes.
As like really angst metal starts playing.
Yeah.
Hot Topic metal starts playing.
And he started to walk away. He's going to abandon her. And then he was like, I can't do it. Damn it. She does have some sort of hold on me.
Right. And so then the Joker jumps in and he picks her up out of the chemicals and their clothes are dissolving off their bodies in puddles of pink and blue.
Yeah.
And he kisses her.
No.
The Joker kisses her passionately.
Yes.
As a song that's like, I fudging love you. It's like plays or something. And it gave me... now, I have not seen these movies. I technically was in the theater when one of them was playing, but I wasn't conscious. The Twilight films.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It made me think of how teenagers of every generation need some sort of depiction of angst love.
Yes.
Of torture love.
Definitely.
Of like, I shouldn't be doing this to myself, but I need you.
Right. Which, by the way, you fell asleep during the Twilight movie. It's
Yeah,
not like you were...
I wasn't conscious.
Yeah. Let's just explain.
And someone drew something on my face.
Yes, I did.
Making our mother angry.
Yes, very much so.
Ruining Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it did.
It was awesome. It was a winky.
Yeah. I drew a winky on Will's forehead during Twilight because we took our niece to see Twilight during Thanksgiving. And we came home and our mom was so mad. Mad at me.
So mad at you. That was the so I saw the first 10 minutes of Twilight. But it made me think of that. It made me... Right out. I quite frankly, watching that, I was like...
Yeah,
who cares? This is just not for me.
Yes.
This is just not a movie that was made for me at all.
No,
so,
I think there are a lot of movies like that where you can be like, oh, I don't, it's not for me, but I can see the value. I think that this movie ended up not being for a lot of people.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so, but I could understand something there. I understand the Joker and Harley Quinn.
Forbidden love.
Right. Yeah.
Totally.
But, it was what I saw was pretty god awful.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got this swagger, and his mouth is. He seriously keeps talking like Jim Carrey in like The Grinch.
He really does talk. Oh my god, he does talk like Jim Carrey in The Grinch.
Like almost exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, so weird. So here's a little bit of the behind the scenes that Jared Leto engaged in.
Yeah.
So he or the studio, probably both, wanted to ride that wave of mythos around playing the Joker. So he said that he took a deep dive into the character and that it was painful.
Shut up.
As I said last week that you gave me a hard time for, and I get it. He said that he listened to 1920s gospel music while preparing because he said he sensed that the Joker may be much older than everybody assumes. You rightly pointed out that would mean the Joker is like extremely old.
Elderly man.
But I just like the idea of being a little bit older.
I'm an idea.
Yeah. I'm not a person.
Yeah.
So he didn't.
Don't punch me, Batman. Don't punch me. God, don't hurt me.
Please.
Oh, God.
So he didn't hang around the set much because he wanted to stay an idea, a mystery from the cast and keep that kind of divide up. So instead, in order to kind of, mess with but connect with them, he gifted his castmates things to keep them off guard, saying, quote, "I did a lot of things to create a dynamic, to create an element of surprise, a spontaneity, and to really break down any kind of walls that may be there. The Joker is somebody who doesn't really respect things like personal space or boundaries." Here's what Will Smith had to say about that. What he did that's great is that he set the bar. First, we found out that Jared wasn't going to be in rehearsals, and we were like, that's messed up. How is he not going to be in rehearsals? And then there was a bag on the door, and this dude barges in and throws a dead pig on the floor in front of us. We're like, okay, Jared is officially set off the Suicide Squad. He went full Joker. He sent Margot Robbie a live rat in a box, along with a love note. He sent Viola Davis a box of bullets, which she found, quote, a little worrisome. And he also sent some more sexually explicit items to various cast members.
What does that mean?
Well, a condom that was unwrapped. So it kind of looked like a used condom, but wasn't used.
Right.
And some sex toys.
This guy's a loser.
Major loser.
You're fired, Jared.
I know. I think that this blew up in his face big time.
Get off the set.
It blew up big time because I think he thought that this was going to be like a fun backstory, but I think most people were like, this is weird and lame.
It's weird and lame. It's so funny because like it's two things. It's inappropriate, but that's the point.
Right.
But does it mean that you have to overlook it? You know what I mean?
And again, now,
I get what you're going for, Jared. Now go home.
Exactly. And as I'm saying out loud, I wonder if his performance and the character design and everything was different in a different movie. And by different, I mean better for both of those things. If these things were good, if it ended up with a good final product, would these gifts be cool? I still don't really think so.
No, I can't think of a single instance where anyone's done anything like this that I would think it's cool.
It just feels...
If Heath Ledger had been doing this, if he sent bullets
not cool.
to Christian Bale,
right,
and if he sent a condom to Maurice Cheese or whatever his name is.
Gary Oldman?
No, what's that man's name?
Who are you trying to think
terrific.
of? Michael Caine?
Yeah, isn't his real name Cheese?
No, John Cleese's real name is John Cheese.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can see what happened. So
well, if he's sending condoms to Michael Caine,
yes,
I don't know if I think that was cool.
No, you're right. Good point. No, it's lame all around.
Now, what's all this?
I get that he's having a bit of fun. It just feels sweaty and it feels built. I don't believe that he did this to connect with his co-stars in some way or keep the mythology of the Joker around. He did it for the after story in the press.
Yes, he did it for his own publicity.
There's no reason to do that. No. It's very, very weird. And
by the way, I saw what he was doing on film. I don't think that he got very lost in it. It's very showy.
Yes.
All of it's very deliberate and like
it also just feels like
the way he laughs is like the penguin It's like
it is kind of like the
it's
Penguin.
all constructed and stinky.
And I also think it's made to make him look hot and cool.
Right.
Like there's just so many shots of his torso and abs and stuff. Like I think he's supposed to look like a cool badass. At one point when he's in his club that he owns, he has a tattoo of like a laughing hand on his palm.
Right.
And so he puts it in front of his face when he's talking to Common, who's playing this guy who he's doing some business with. It's all supposed to be very cool, which ends up feeling self-serving. I think also because you have a little bit of a meta knowledge of Jared Leto, and he seems kind of invested in his image in real life and being cool. It's all weird and doesn't work.
Very uncomfortable.
Very lame. So let's move on to the most recent Joker interpretation we've seen on screen. It's Joaquin Phoenix in... Is it The Joker or Joker? Just Joker?
I have no idea.
I think it's just Joker.
Can I say one quick thing about Jared Leto?
Yes.
I think I brought this up last time as well. The group Mega 64, who I'm a big fan of, did a series of Joker updates in the months leading up to the release of Suicide Squad, where they talked about stuff like Jared Leto sending a pig to whoever and whatever.
Right.
And there's a playlist. Maybe if I remember, I'll put it in the show notes. Love Mega 64. Go watch it. It's all hilarious.
I love Mega 64 too.
And you can get basically like a blow by blow when the Joker news came out as it came out.
That's so funny.
A few times they point out something that I think is really interesting and smart. I think that somebody plays a guy named Captain Boomerang in the movie. Goes like, yeah, Jared Leto took my phone and he messed it up bad. He changed the wallpaper and he made it say disconnect.
Oh my God.
And then they'd be like, so what is this? You know, I don't remember picking up the Batman comics and seeing that the Joker, changed Batman's screensaver.
Yeah.
What's the famous Joker story where he, mailed a rat?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, Alfred, Joker's sending us condoms again in the mail.
Yeah.
What is this supposed to be?
He's just,
why is this helping you become the Joker?
Because he's a merry prankster and he's taunting them from afar.
That's not even like what he's like in the movie.
I know.
In the movie, he's driving Ferraris.
Yes. Yeah.
And smooching Harley Quinn.
Right. I don't know.
Baffling. Anyway, go check that out. They're amazing. They're hilarious.
Yes, they are. Batfulling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now Joaquin Phoenix in the movie Joker that's out right now. So we're not going to go too into the story since it's still in theaters. I feel like that should still live within... Well, we spoiled it a little bit last week. We did a little bit last week. If you have things to say, we can get into spoiler stuff and we'll warn you at that point or whatever. But it's a totally different story. He's not Jack Napier like the original Batman or a nameless villain Joker or anything like Heath Ledger, but he's a guy named Arthur Fleck who's an unsuccessful stand-up comic with emotional issues and a condition where he spontaneously laughs, which makes him alienated from other people because it's off-putting, basically. He's kind of like an unstable everyman who unravels to the degree that he becomes murderous. And the movie has a lot of, which you guys probably know, there's a lot of concern that it might make a murderer too sympathetic a character.
Right.
So as we said before, it seems clear that he's not the famous Joker. He might be kind of the first one who maybe inspires a later one who is the Joker. So some behind the scenes stuff is, so they're not leaning too hard into like the Joker has made him twisted kind of thing with Joaquin Phoenix. There's enough behind the scenes stuff about the potential danger of the Joker storyline that I feel like there's not really a need to go into the Joker like warping Joaquin Phoenix's mind / Joaquin Phoenix is already a notoriously very intense actor with like kind of unusual means and methods of getting into character. So like there's not really room to say like, oh, the Joker's gotten to him, he's acting like a weirdo. Like he kind of always acts like a weirdo.
He's always a weirdo, yeah.
Totally. Like remember the I'm Not Here era?
Yes, I do.
Ooh,
that David Letterman interview is wonderful.
Yes, it is. It's so intense. And did you see him on Jimmy Kimmel recently? It seems like they were going for like, it didn't work for me at all. Like a similar kind of awkward talk show moment. Do you know what I'm talking about? No. Okay, so he went on Jimmy Kimmel and they had an interview, like a normal interview. And then Jimmy Kimmel's like, well, you don't know this, but we actually have a clip that was sent to us by the sent by somebody, but it was taken by the cinematographer Lawrence Sher of some behind the scenes footage, and let's like roll to that. And so they throw this footage of him in the movie, and it's him being kind of like rude and pissy, Joaquin Phoenix, and being like saying shut up with the constant whispering and like being like pissy.
Yeah.
And that seems genuine and real to me. But they cut back and Joaquin Phoenix is acting like he didn't know that they were going to show that. And he's like, I'm just embarrassed. I'm caught off guard. And it's like quiet and kind of weird, but I don't think that it actually was a surprise. You think he knew that they were going to play it? Yes, I do. Yeah. Like there's a little bit of like nervous laughter from the crowd and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe it. It didn't feel like it to me. It's not like he's doing a bad job. It just didn't feel authentic to me. I just feel like if you were really surprised by that, you'd pull it together a little bit more. It reminded me of Andy Kaufman a little bit.
Right.
Like it felt like he was leaning into the awkwardness of a moment. And maybe that was or wasn't intentionally supposed to be like another Joaquin Phoenix weird talk show moment or not. Because he doesn't seem like a cornball like that. Like he would want to do that.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know so much about Joaquin Phoenix. Maybe he would. It's worth looking up and just going to the end of the clip and see what you think. I don't think that it was genuine. I think that he was leaning into like a weird performance-y moment or whatever.
Yeah.
But so... Sure, who sent that clip, who's that cinematographer, or if he didn't send it, he was the cinematographer who he's talking to off camera. Maybe they said Todd Phillips sent it, but either way, Lawrence Sher told Business Insider that it was actually a prank of Todd Phillips, or no, excuse me, a prank on Todd Phillips that Joaquin Phoenix would get all pissy like that, but it didn't land right because Joaquin Phoenix did so well at it.
Oh.
Not the talk show thing, just that time on set.
Yeah.
He seems so authentically like pissed and like shut up Larry or whatever, that it made everybody on the set super uncomfortable and just took on a different flavor, even though it was supposed to be a prank.
Boy, all this like there's so much like agita surrounding the Joker at all times.
I know,
it's insane.
It's really crazy.
You know what the Joker hasn't been in a while?
What? Fun. Yeah.
He hasn't been just like a fun character that you can enjoy in a long time.
Well, I guess in the cartoons, right? Because I think there have been some iterations of cartoons where
Are cartoons still going? I don't even know if there's like a current Batman
movies
cartoon.
Here and there are going. Like the Joker isn't in this, but there was a movie, Batman cartoon movie called Hush that Ryan and I watched.
Right.
And it was good. That came out in the last couple of years.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe he hasn't been in them, but he's usually fun in the cartoons. But yeah, on screen, there's not been a fun Joker.
There's not a bunch of like conversation about Mark Hamill losing his mind as he's played the Joker for the last almost 30 years.
I know.
He's fine.
Totally. So it seems like Joaquin Phoenix was just doing him.
Yeah.
But because he's playing the Joker, it ends up feeling like a bigger deal.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, he was great in that movie.
I'm sure. I love Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's great.
He did a really good job. He was really compelling. He dances in his underwear. And it was quite a spectacle.
There is a history, I'm realizing, of like people who I've had who've been like my pinups on my wall being the Joker. I had a poster of Heath Ledger on my wall. I also had a poster of Joaquin Phoenix on my wall. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe you're dangerous.
I know. Maybe I'm twisted.
You are twisted. Yeah. Well, I looked up a few more crazy Joker iterations from comic books and stuff.
Cool.
Just to round us out.
Sure.
And these are all sort of like, over the long storied history of comic books, they've had to turn the Joker into, I don't know, dinosaurs and stuff whenever they do some ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
Sure. So here are some, I got 5 more, I think, fun versions of the Joker that break all the rules.
Cool.
They did a story called Batman, Two Faces. Batman is the Joker. This takes place in like the 1800s or something like that. And he's trying to track down a Jack the Ripper type killer. But at the same time, he's experimenting with some sort of a serum that's supposed to do something to Two-Face out there in the world. And he's been testing it on himself. So unbeknownst to himself, Batman is turning into the Joker at night like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Sweet.
Yeah. There is, separate from that, there's DC and Marvel. Those are the 2 gigantic comic book labels. And I think in the 90s, they did a crossover where they formed a 3rd label.
Really?
Amalgam Comics. A combination of both worlds. Literally a combination is the key because this version of the Joker is called the Hyena.
Oh.
It's a combo of the Joker and Sabretooth from the X-Men.
Weird.
And so he's like a big,
buff?
muscular, big buff. He looks like the Rum Tum Tugger, but Jokerized.
Oh, God.
You know?
Yeah.
And his nemesis is Dark Claw.
Yeah.
Whose real name is Logan Wayne.
Oh.
I'm not going to spoil what two heroes he's a combination of.
I can't imagine.
There's a version of the Joker apparently on Earth 2.
Okay.
Where he is a frail old man in a wheelchair who is
much older than he seems.
Much older than he seems. Or exactly as old as he seems. And he's unable to laugh without hurting himself.
Oh, God.
As a result of his exposure to deadly chemicals.
Ooh.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah, that is scary.
I like the idea of the Joker who cannot laugh.
Yes, me too. That's a cool perversion of it.
Scary.
Yes.
There's something scary about that.
Yeah.
There is a story called Batman Bloodstorm. Batman is a vampire in this story, and he still has that sort of like, but I won't kill the Joker. He's my other half kind of thing going on. However, at one point, he loses control, he's pushed to the edge, and he ends up biting the Joker.
Oh, okay.
Now,
well, they're going to live together now forever.
You would think.
Yeah. No?
But to make sure that the Joker doesn't turn into a vampire like Batman, Batman stakes him in the heart.
Oh, okay.
To kill him once and for all.
Okay.
But then he lives out the rest of his life, damned not only by Dracula's bite, but now also the Joker's blood. Because he consumed it.
Yeah, why didn't he just stake him? Why did he do that?
Stakes work on people, too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. And then this last wacky Joker I've got for you is not wacky at all.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, he's kind of scary. There's a story called Gotham by Gaslight. And I think it takes place at about the same time period that I talked to you about before. It's about the Jack the Ripper time.
Okay.
The reason I know that is because Batman is trying to catch a serial killer who has poisoned at least 10 women. And when he tries to, this killer, when he tries to commit suicide with strychnine, it leaves him with a permanent grin. Just like, I like that sort of like,
yeah.
I don't typically
it's like
like
a nod.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't typically like steampunk.
Yeah.
But I like kind of that. Gotham by Gaslight is a great name.
That sounds cool.
That really evokes
a
feeling.
Yes.
That I haven't read it, but I kind of want to now.
That sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah. So where does this leave us, Kristen?
Yeah.
All of these different iterations.
Where do we go from here?
How do you take a person and do two things with them? One, you've got to drive them so crazy that they're crazier than everyone else in the world. And two, you've got to give them some sort of a hook around laughter or comedy.
Right.
And there are 1,000 different ways that writers have come up with reasons to justify why one person has these two traits. And almost all of them, even if they're dopey, are conceptually interesting.
Yeah.
And kind of frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Kristen, your favorite version of the Joker?
This is tough stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I got to go Nicholson.
Nicholson. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Classic.
He
With
is a
Heath
classic.
Ledger, a very close second.
Yeah. Okay.
A sublime performance. But as we were texting about earlier, I think I've seen The Dark Knight too many times.
Yeah.
And it seems like I can watch Batman 1989 endlessly.
Yeah. I watched them both sort of as homework for the show.
Yeah.
And so I didn't quite give either of them their fair due.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Batman 1989, I did sit down with Allie and we watched it straight through and I had fun.
Yeah.
But I also kind of like couldn't stop noticing weird things about the movie. Or just like, I don't know, there's some of the things that Jack Nicholson's doing that are either really, really awesome or just like, man, I want more of this and I want less of the rest. Like he's better than the movie that he's in.
Yeah.
And he says crazy stuff. Where he's like, never rub another man's rhubarb.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah.
And then The Dark Knight, man, that movie is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it took me a solid 6 or 7 hours to watch it. Granted, I was multitasking.
Right.
But it was boring.
I don't agree with that.
It was boring the hell out of me.
Not there.
I think the problem is what you just said. I think I've seen it too many damn times.
Yeah.
I think that I've probably seen The Dark Knight double digits, absolutely, at least.
Yeah, I definitely have
least.
seen double digits, yeah.
And so I can predict every line that's about to happen. There's a lot of setup in the movie that's really awkwardly handled. Some of the lines don't feel logical anymore to me. And it just went on and on and on.
I wonder if it wouldn't feel that way if you had watched it straight through.
Maybe.
I wonder.
I also want to say this, that I also think is not fair that this has been done to the movie. I occasionally will go on YouTube and look up, I'll type in Joker impression.
Yeah.
And then I'll filter by new.
You have to just, yeah.
And then I watch everyone do their Joker monologues because it's so hard to watch them in such an enjoyable way. They've ruined all the Joker monologues for me. Every last one of them. When he goes like, my wife was beautiful, like you.
Yeah, I've never done that.
I hear 45 different dudes on the internet doing the impression. I hear everyone's Joker monologues. And now I like the moments that nobody quotes. I like all the Joker stuff in the movie that nobody does a monologue of because it's not long enough or something, you know?
Right, it feels fresher to your ear.
Absolutely.
You do definitely have to fight to put aside the merchandising of the Dark Knight Joker.
Yeah.
Because that can make it feel dorky. But with it just what it is, it's like so extremely great.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really great. But man, I feel like people have ruined that one for me.
Yeah, you just gotta. So who's your favorite Joker?
Mark Hamill.
Oh, okay.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I really like.
He's great. I do really like him too.
Yeah.
I just haven't watched as much of that stuff.
Some of that stuff is really awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah. And even the way that they brought him back, they did a run of the show called Batman Beyond. And they did a movie called Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, where they explain how the Joker died.
Yeah.
And then they bring him back. Can I spoil it just because it's rad?
Sure.
I'm going to spoil Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. No one's going to really care unless you're a big dork, and then you've probably seen it.
Yeah.
So it's the cartoon show. It takes place in Batman the Animated Series continuity. But like that show ended, and then separately they started doing Batman Beyond. And they never really explained what happened to the Joker. So this movie tries to do it. What happened was the Joker kidnapped one of the Robins. I don't remember their names.
Yeah.
He kidnapped one of the Robins and started experimenting on him with electroshock and chemicals.
Okay.
To basically turn him into a little Joker. He wanted to have his own Robin, essentially. And so when Batman shows up to save his Robin, he finds that there's like a child with a big Joker grin. And he's attacking Batman now. And it's terrifying, whatever.
Yeah.
And Joker is talking over a loudspeaker, and he's going like, he told me such things when he was under the shocks and chemicals took their toll. Bruce. And the fact that he knows Batman's identity lands in a way that's heavy somehow.
Yeah.
And so they're fighting, whatever. Joker's getting the upper hand, sure. And then the Robin that's been Jokerized shoots Joker with a gun.
Oh.
And kills him. And Joker's last words are, "That's not funny."
Oh, God.
And he dies. And then this is all like a flashback thing. And old Bruce Wayne is explaining the story to the new young Batman. He goes like, "We buried him under the old Arkham Asylum." And so like the Joker's bones have been buried under Arkham Asylum, but how can he possibly be back? There's a guy that seems like he's the Joker who's here now. And it turns out that he's been like piggybacking off of that Joker kid. He like had like a chip in his brain and a psychological thing that lets him kind of be a Jekyll and Hyde kind of guy. Inside old, I think it's Tim Drake is the Robin. And so Tim Drake as an old man can turn into the Joker who's like, "I've lived on, bats."
Oh my God.
Whatever. And then he's fighting the new young Batman who's making fun of him and laughing at him, which drives the Joker insane.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to fire guns at him and stuff. And he becomes completely unhinged and he's choking him. He's choking the new Batman.
Yeah.
Joker is choking Batman and screaming, "You're not Batman!" because he knows this is some interloper who's taking over.
Yeah, it's not the person who he's had this relationship with.
And laughing and cackling as he chokes somebody in this cartoon movie.
Yeah.
They had to make a family-friendly edit of this movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's an unrated cut of this film. I might have it upstairs right now.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff was too intense.
Oh, man.
It's like,
cool.
And Mark Hamill is so scary.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. So he's,
that sounds awesome.
Without a doubt, my number one.
Yeah, I get that. He's great.
My number one guy.
Beautifully done.
And then I think probably Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And then without a doubt, definitely Jared Leto.
Of course. Can't leave him out.
I'm an idea. No, probably then Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great.
Yep.
He was a heartthrob of mine too, now that I think about it, from what's it called? My So-Called Life. Why were all these...
Isn't that what you said before? Didn't you say... Who else did
Joaquin Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah.
But you mentioned...
Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix, who I was talking about before. I said I had posters of them both in my room.
Okay.
And then I have a poster of Jared Leto, but I loved him.
You did?
What the hell was going on? From My So-Called Life? Yeah.
Oh, okay. He was on another thing. I think of him. I think of him from like Fight Club.
No. I mean, I think I probably still thought he was hot then. But no,
Right.
he was on like this like teen drama, My So-Called Life, where he was like a hot like grunge guy.
Okay.
Oh man, what the hell was going on?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Yeah.
And Jack Nicholson from The Departed.
Yeah. I had that Jack Nicholson from The Departed poster in my room.
Yeah.
So weird. Yeah. I think the Joker really got a thing going on.
Yeah, I wonder what the future of the Joker is.
I think that they will eventually bring him back. If this DC reboot is successful of the Batman or whatever with Robert Pattinson, I think that a couple movies down the line, I think they're going to wait a while. But I could see them bringing back a Joker who was, of that group. Yeah.
I'd like them to dispel... The Joker has too much emphasis on him now.
Yeah, it's like this weighty, insane character.
Yeah, you can't do him without it having to be like the thing that'll top everything that ever came before.
Yes.
I want someone to do a story where the Joker is dispatched in the cold open.
Do a serviceable Joker that's like not a humongous deal. I feel like that would be a good reset.
Oh, see, I want someone to make a statement by doing a story where the Joker is dispatched instantly. I want the Joker to step on screen and go like, "Hello, bats," and then somebody tackles him and throws him in a cell, and they go, "He definitely, actually won't escape."
That just feels nerdy to me.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him for a while so he can feel cool again.
Yeah.
And fun and weird. I don't want to feel sad when I think about the Joker.
Absolutely
giving
not.
his mom a bath.
No way. And then dancing with her.
No, I don't want to feel like I'm supposed to be attracted to the Joker as he smooches Harley Quinn in a pool of goo as their clothes dissolve. It's insane.
No.
What have they done to my boy?
No.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
All right, guys, that is it. We're going to see you next week. And until then, please follow us at GTTUpod on all social media. We would love it if you gave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Apple Podcasts is a really great place to do it, but anywhere that you can spare a couple of minutes to leave a preferably 5-star review and say a kind word about your friends would be awesome. We have bonus episodes over on patreon.com/GTTUpod that you can get access to if you donate $4 or more per month. We have one up there that's the October episode where Will and I talk about a bunch of things that we've watched recently.
Yeah, Zach Bagans has a show about serial killer spirits.
That's right. We shoot the breeze about that. Are You Afraid of the Dark? And Return of the Living Dead, as well as a little bit of Haunted Salem Live, which I watched on the Travel Channel.
Yeah, that's right.
We also have a review of it too there. We have a couple of like videos that are just bonuses over there. And we're going to be adding more all the time, and particularly bonus episodes on the 15th of every month for those $4 plus patrons.
Yeah. So if you go sign up right now on patreon.com/GTTUpod, you're going to get access to all of that stuff that's already there and new stuff that we do. We've got a bunch of like full-length podcasts up there for you to listen to and have fun with.
Yeah,
I think they're great shows, and you're really going to enjoy them.
Yeah, totally. And remember, we would love for you to come to our live show on Sunday, October 27th in Highland Park, New Jersey. So you can go to the link in any of our social media profiles to get tickets for that, or you can Google Eventbrite Guides to the Unknown Live and get tickets for $10 to come hang out with us.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, really looking forward to it, everybody.
Me too.
So thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We hope that you had a good time learning about the Clown Prince of Crime.
That's right.
Mr. J.
Mr. J.
We'll be back next week to talk more about spooky stuff from around the world. But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld, go we. Kaboom.
See you real soon.
See you real soon.
That's something that the Riddler does.
Yeah. See you soon.
And which is weird because in Batman, Jack Nicholson waves goodbye like this.
Yeah. I know.
And then the Riddler does that later.
I know.
Yeah. Real weird stuff.
Cool.
Christy Spink says conversations about you two and Guide to the Unknown have picked up a bit over on Twitch this past 2 weeks. Really? What kind of stuff?
Cool. Yeah, what do you mean?
Good stuff, bad stuff?
Sweet.
Hit me with it. Hit me. Hit me.
Hamill, Nicholson, Cesar Romero. That's a good rundown, Robert.
Yeah, Cesar Romero is a good one. I think I had a toy of the Cesar Romero Joker when I was a kid.
I think you're right. There was a lot of talk about your debit card entirely showing, William, during this.
Oh, is that right?
Yep. Yeah. If they could see this, it's your whole debit card number.
Huh, maybe I'll just have to pull this episode.
I know. We might not be able to have this up on YouTube.
I gotta stop fidgeting.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's see.
Lots of Harley Quinn outfit talk.
Scroll up a little bit.
Yeah.
Megan says Ledger's Joker felt more real. He did very good with the creep factor of this could actually happen. I agree with that without a doubt.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that character a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's fun that he's like, he burns all that money, that he says that, it's corny, but like, this town deserves a better class of criminal.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to him. It's actually cool. Batman has
a very cool
upped
idea.
the ante.
Yeah.
So there needs to be something on that level. You can't just be all these normal mob dudes.
No, we're just worried about money. That's all we're doing. Jennifer Regan says in the non-musical Little Shop of Horrors from the 60s, Jack Nicholson was the patient at the dentist office and it's very similar to the reconstruction scene.
Oh, really?
That's cool.
That's interesting. I've never seen that.
I haven't either. I know that that he was in it, but I didn't really know that.
Huh, interesting. Christy says about Twitch, my friend who called you out on Twitter and I have been having a lot of chats in her stream. Interest from others has been picking up.
Oh, cool.
That's very cool. Thank you very much,
awesome.
Christy.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that.
That's great. I hope they like it.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
All right.
All right, dudes.
Cool, everybody.
We're going to head out.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for hanging out with us.
I hope you enjoyed it.
And yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking real soon.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.